This is Valley News Live at 10.
As smoke fills the skies in Canada and even down here in North Dakota, residents say they've become accustomed to fire season this year. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Reed Gregory.
And I'm Zoe Jones. Despite being used to the fires, they are saying that this year is, quote, a little scarier than most.
British Columbia declared a state of emergency on Friday as firefighters battled a wildfire raging in the hills and mountains, forcing thousands of evacuations. The city of West Kelowna, a city of 36,000 people, is some 300 kilometers east of Vancouver. Wildfires and evacuations were also being carried out in the main city of Kelowna, a city with a population of about 150,000.
The flames and smoke were visible from West Kelowna, according to a witness, and smoke filled the valley surrounding the lake. More than 2,400 properties were evacuated, officials said, and thousands more are on alert to leave with little notice if necessary.
And like we said, the effects of that smoke can even be felt down here in Fargo. So let's check in with First Alert Storm Team's Shelby Ebertowski for a look at conditions. Shelby?
Well, Zoe and Reed, throughout the day today, we had that wildfire smoke sweep through the valley. It was more visible during the daytime with that sunlight, but it caused some visibility issues. We had 8 miles of visibility in Grand Forks, 9 in Oaks, and even 7 in Devil's Lake. Now, things have improved as of now, but even then, we are still tracking some air quality issues. Now, earlier today, just a little while ago, we had some moderate and unhealthy for some air quality. We had unhealthy for areas like Beltrami, Marshall, Roseau, and Lake of the Woods area, but everyone else was in that moderate category. Now, throughout the next couple hours, we are going to see that wildfire smoke continue to push throughout the rest of the valley, and we had some bands in that heavier band just finally pushed through the valley here just not long ago, causing some of that health issues for some. But we also had those breezy winds continuing to push through the valley. For today, we had peak wind gusts gusting up to 30 here in Fargo that helped bring some of that wildfire smoke down. 35 in Langdon and 35 in Cooperstown. Now tomorrow we have those breezy winds, but not as gusty. And Zoe and Reed, I'll have that full forecast for you coming up here in just a few moments.
All right, thank you so much, Shelby. One person was struck on Highway 89 in Beltrami County this morning after laying in the roadway. According to police, a 2019 Chevy Tahoe being driven by a 36-year-old from Bemidji, Minnesota was headed northbound on Highway 89 around 5:55 on Saturday morning. The Tahoe struck a pedestrian laying in the roadway. The pedestrian was a 41-year-old from Red Lake, Minnesota.
There is no report on the state of their injuries at this time, and the names of the individuals involved are expected to be released on Monday, August 21st. And we do have an update for you. The name of a 35-year-old Bismarck man who died after he was struck by a semi has been released. He's identified as Cameron Davis Redbird. Highway Patrol says it happened just after 3 yesterday morning on I-94, just 5 miles east of Valley City.
Authorities say Bird was walking westbound in the middle of the right lane when he was struck. Bird was pronounced dead on the scene.
And a good reminder to find safe and sober rides with Labor Day coming up. Until September 4th, Minnesota will be having extra road enforcements as part of a sober ride campaign. Law enforcement will be looking for drivers who appear impaired by alcohol, cannabis, prescription medications, or any other substance. For more information and resources about this campaign and traffic safety, you can visit drivesmartmn.org.
Attorney General Merrick Garland will meet with law enforcement officials on Monday in Fargo. The Attorney General will visit the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of North Dakota and meet with federal, state, and local law enforcement leaders. The last time a sitting Attorney General was in Fargo was in 2018 to discuss a large drug bust. We'll bring you live coverage on Monday right here on Valley News Live. Also, federal agencies are continuing in Maui to help evacuees transition from the shelters to hotels.
Hawaii News Now's Jolene Martinez has the latest.
We've secured about 780 to 1,000 hotel rooms. That number continually goes up every day as we work directly with our lodging partners and others to secure and open up rooms.
Federal agencies have created a task force focused on finding innovative sheltering and housing solutions for survivors. They say nearly 6,000 survivors have registered for federal assistance.
And that comes out to approving more than $5.6 million in assistance with nearly 2,000 households, including more than $2.3 million in initial rental assistance.
As FEMA's final search and rescue teams arrived Friday, the Red Cross says they responded to more than 2,100 requests to help families locate loved ones. FEMA's administrator says as of Wednesday evening, 40% of search and recovery efforts have been completed, and recovering remains continues to be the Department of Defense's top priority.
It really is a more humanitarian and it has and we want to be able to treat them in a dignified manner and give some closure to the families.
Brigadier General Stephen Logan of the Hawaii National Guard says they've brought up 2 separate security teams for Lahaina's burn zones.
We also have a roving patrol because unfortunately there's a lot of motorists that are stopping on the side of the road in order to get a better view and almost treat this like a tourist attraction. So between us and the Maui Police Department, they discourage people from stopping and would rather they just transmit through the area.
And to keep people from pulling over to the side of the road, Logan says the state's Department of Transportation is putting up fencing like dust walls. Jolani Martinez, Hawaii News Now.
Now, as Maui faces years of rebuilding and recovery, FEMA says its disaster fund is running out of money.
Chief Deanne Criswell is issuing warnings that the relief fund is set to run out of money this month, which is coincidentally right before the peak of hurricane season. It's already been a record year for natural disasters here in the United States. So far, the U.S. has tallied 15 weather-related disasters, each exceeding $1 billion in damage, and that does not include the Maui wildfires.
Criswell says they do have enough money for the initial response to Maui. However, recovery could be delayed into next year if Congress does not pass a spending bill with money for natural disasters.
And a member of the Proud Boys is missing days before his sentencing. Christopher Worrell was convicted in a bench trial on 7 charges related to his actions during the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. He was scheduled to be sentenced in federal court in Washington on Friday, but is now missing. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Columbia, law enforcement officials say they are interested in hearing from any member of the public who might have any information regarding his whereabouts. He's been under house arrest in the state of Florida. Worrell's sentencing was canceled on Tuesday, and a bench warrant was also issued for his arrest. And according to court records, federal prosecutors are currently seeking a 14-year sentence.
Well, the man accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students appeared in court for a motions hearing on Friday. Bryan Kohberger's defense team has filed motions to postpone the trial, which is scheduled to begin in October. Prosecutors say Kohberger stabbed Kaylee Goncalves, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogan, and Ethan Chapin to death at their off-campus apartment. Kohberger has pled not guilty to 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of burglary. Now he could face the death penalty if convicted.
And health officials around the world are tracking a highly mutated coronavirus variant. The variant is called BA.286 and has more than 30 changes to its spike protein. The World Health Organization labeled the variant a, quote, variant under monitoring on Thursday.
Now, so far, only a handful of cases have been reported in 4 countries. That includes 1 case here in the United States. That's in Michigan. Scientists say it's still unclear how transmissible the new strain is or its severity. The director of the CDC, Dr. Mandy Cohen, says the variant shouldn't be cause for alarm and that the agency is now more prepared than ever to respond to changes in the virus. Also, music superstar Pink was seen Saturday afternoon at the Target store located on 13th Avenue. The singer-songwriter was seen taking pictures with fans inside the store while wearing a baseball cap and accompanied by her bodyguard.
She arrived and left in a black SUV, with many people taking pictures outside as well. The singer was with 2 children assumed to be her own. The artist kicked off a show just earlier tonight at the Fargo Dome. And later on Valley News Live at 10, back to school is right around the corner. We'll tell you about some of the concerns districts are facing across the nation.
And temperatures right now are still sitting in those 60s, a few of us in those 70s, but coming up here we have those drought conditions and some of us may get a few chances of rain, but coming up in just a few moments, I'll have your full forecast on when that is next.